I didn't have bruises or anything obvious, but the control and manipulation were so real. Then I hear stories of people going through physical abuse with narcissists, and I start to question if what I went through was even abuse. What does narcissistic abuse really look like?
I get this question all the time from people, and it's often where my clients start is this deep concern and questioning, like, is this really abuse? And it is one of the most common things I hear about narcissistic abuse because narcissistic abuse isn't easy to explain. I give a definition in my book based on working with thousands of clients and getting hundreds of stories that it's a multi-layered attack on your sense of self, a dismantling of who you are and what you believe you're worth, and it includes consistent and repetitive acts used by narcissists to meet their ego needs and gain control over your emotions, intentions, and perceptions. That's the best way I can kind of concisely put it, but that still really doesn't do it justice as far as how significant the effects are. And I want people to consider the fact that it isn't easily wrapped up in a bow and you can explain it in one word actually doesn't mean it's less impactful at all. And if anything, it means it's even more impactful because you can't explain it in a simple word. It's not that any type of abuse is simple, but you can't say, well, they hit me or um, they do this physical abuse to me. You don't have that. You don't have a bruise to show someone. You can't say here's their abuse and show them proof. You can't do that for yourself or others. It's not that you don't have any, quote, hard proof. And because of that, we are so much more likely to question ourselves, to blame ourselves, to wonder if it is abuse, to call it a miscommunication or a misunderstanding or a disagreement or a difference of attachment styles and love languages. We find all of these ways to describe it other than abusive. So, if anything, that just goes to show how much more complex it is and how much more valid it is that what you're feeling is valid and makes sense. So, if we could think about what narcissistic abuse is, it is a type of emotional abuse. And so it can include all the things of emotional abuse: manipulation, invalidation, neglect, criticism, gaslighting, all of those things. So when we say narcissistic abuse, we're really talking about a type of person who is perpetrating emotional abuse. But it's not only emotional and physical because narcissistic abuse can also be spiritual, financial, sexual, it can be physical. And of course, emotional and psychological. So it can be all of those things. It's not just one thing. I just wanted to highlight a few of the most common themes that we see in narcissistic relationships and how it impacts you and why it is so significant. One of the things we see a lot of times in narcissistic relationships is something called coercive control. And that is acts of threats, intimidation, and humiliation used to instill fear or to punish and control you. You know you're being coercively controlled when you stop doing things that you want to do and you start doing things or stop doing things because you're scared of what will happen if you don't. So you no longer feel like you can move about freely in your own environment. You don't just think, what do I want to do? You start kind of thinking from the inside out, like, well, what are going to be the consequences if I do this or say this or go here or talk to this person? So you start monitoring yourself and you start feeling like your world is shrinking and very small. And when narcissists are using coercive control, they do a lot of things like monitor you. They will monitor where you go, how you spend your time. They'll make comments on how you eat, how you sleep, what you're doing, um, where you're going. They may install cameras or track you. I know a lot of narcissists will use that Find My iPhone or Life 360 or any of those apps that can really be used for good to track your loved ones, but they use it to see where you're going. And they may not even tell you that they're watching it. They may just say, how was, visiting John today? And you're like, how did you know that? Even if it wasn't a secret, they just plant those things in your head basically to let you know that they see everything, they know everything. So it starts to feel like they have this omnipresence in your mind. You never know what they're gonna do, what they're watching, where they're gonna show up. So it starts to feel like your world is very small. Something else narcissists do is called triangulation. And that's when narcissists become the mediator between two people. So it creates obviously this triangle. So you're no longer talking directly to someone. You have to trust that the narcissist is correctly communicating what this person is saying, and inevitably they are not. And so narcissists triangulate you in a couple of ways: what they say to you about others and what they say to others about you. And triangulation has been happening when you walk into a room and you're like, why are these people treating me differently? Or what do they think about me? What do they know about me? You start getting this strange feedback from people. They start asking you questions about things that you've never talked to them about. They start treating you in ways that you're like, something is really different here. Maybe your friend stops calling you. Maybe you feel these shifts in relationships. I know for those who've had narcissistic spouses, a lot of times the narcissistic spouse will tell their family, "Oh, my spouse, in this case the healthy spouse, is so manipulative and they're controlling and they won't even give me gas money to come see you guys because they are so controlling of me." And then the narcissist family starts to get this idea of how controlling the spouse is, and none of that is even true. But yet, when you go to that family event, they start treating you like you're the abuser. And you're like, what has been said here? What is happening? And it's also why you end up sometimes even isolating from friends because the narcissist will tell you that, a friend is upset with you, that you didn't call them back, that you didn't make it to their kid's birthday party, things that the friend has probably never even said or has totally been taken out of context. The narcissist doesn't tell you that. They just act like they know things about your friends or about your social environment that you don't know. And then you start to feel weird like, why didn't my friend just tell me that? Or why is my friend talking to my spouse about that? Or you start to feel really misunderstood by them or hurt or upset. And you assume you can trust the narcissist. So you don't question it. You don't always go directly to your friend because that feels kind of weird and possibly betraying your spouse. So you just don't say anything. And then you start to isolate and pull back from that friendship based on this false narrative that the narcissist has created. And one other thing narcissists do a ton, which is why we get in the relationship and often why we get stuck in the relationship, is future faking. They do this all the time. We see this a lot in, think of that narcissistic cycle of abuse, which is idealize, devalue, discard, hoover. So obviously in the idealized phase, narcissists are selling you on this life you're going to have with them, selling you on who they are, what kind of person they are, what kind of person or kind of life that you're going to have if you're with them. And that's obviously turns out not to be the case. And then once they've devalued you and maybe they've discarded you by leaving you or physically or just neglecting you, basically emotionally discarding you, then they might hoover you and they use future faking to try to hoover you. They'll say things like, things are going to get better now that the holidays are over, or I'm I understand a bit more now about what you were saying about how I need to be there for you. So I'm going to take some time off work. So if you just come back and we can make this work. And they start again selling you how things are going to be so much better. And this is a really part of what makes narcissistic relationships kind of sticky and feel addictive is because future faking does give you this hope that maybe they do get it a little bit because they are at least acknowledging that things aren't great now. They are saying, oh, things are going to be better when. And so you think, okay, well, maybe they do kind of understand that we have issues and things need to change. And that is such a seductive idea, especially when you want desperately for this relationship to work. And so, coercive control, triangulation, and future faking, just a handful of some of the abusive tactics narcissists use. And we know that there's so many more too.